NASCAR's 2025 practice and qualifying schedule undergoes major changes, and Scott McLaughlin and SVG on the same team. It's confirmed, and it's happening sooner than you might think. Welcome into the Breaking Bob channel. Hope y'all are doing well today. If you're new here, first off, welcome in. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. We're always talking NASCAR and racing on a daily basis. First, let's start off with the daily update, it feels like, in the NASCAR lawsuit versus 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. Apparently, a new filing from court today, Bob Pockus reports, in trying to show irreparable harm, Front Row's Jerry Freese alleges that NASCAR president Steve Phelps told him in September the transfer from the SHR charter to FRM has been approved, but now NASCAR is telling the team they must drop the lawsuit for that to happen. 2311 and Front Row's filing today includes an affidavit from Joe Custer, Stewart-Haas Racing's president, who says that NASCAR had told him on more than one occasion that the transfers to 2311 and FRM would be approved. He said they do not have the personnel and resources to run two more teams. So SHR is saying, no, we cannot do this. We need to get rid of these charters. I know it's been agreed. NASCAR's got it in limbo, but please, get rid of them off our hands. We're running one car as Haas factory team. But it's hard to have sympathy for Front Row Motorsports in 2311 in this instance. Yes, it stinks that, well, you're not going to be able to get that charter at least right now, but you don't even have anything in writing. It's all handshake principal agreements with NASCAR. You have to have some sort of paper trail that shows that there's an official agreement, because a handshake agreement doesn't really work when you're in court against the opponent that you have this so-called deal with. For Front Row Motorsports to not have anything from NASCAR in true writing that says that these charters have been officially passed on from SHR to FRM, it's tough to really have any sympathy for them and really use this as evidence in court. Just, oh, well, we've agreed to it. We don't have any proof of it, but on multiple times they said that this is going to work. I don't know. I'm no legal expert. When I read the lawsuit, a lot of times my head hurts. But comment down below if you think FRM's newest filing today has any merit, or if you think that it'll matter at all in this lawsuit with NASCAR. Moving on to some actual on-track news, NASCAR announced their practice and qualifying formats for 2025. And let me tell you, we finally did it, folks. Single round qualifying is back on ovals for 2025. NASCAR will keep the qualifying format that separates the field into two different groups based off of a metric that has been used from previous races and owner points. But the biggest thing is that there won't be a final round of 10 that determines the field, and there won't be this A group, B group. It'll be whoever's the fastest of the actual one lap round qualifying is going to be on pole. It's a lot simpler, and for fans, it's a big win. But to get something, you got to give up something in return, and I think as fans, we did lose a little bit of greatness in the NASCAR road course qualifying format. It'll still be the two groups, multiple cars in both groups, but there won't be that top 10 final group. It'll just be, again, one round qualifying, just with 20-minute sessions of two different rounds going on. As far as the super speedways, that will be the only unchanged format. You'll have the normal field qualify, two different groups, and then the top 5 from each group moves on to the final 10. That will determine the top 10 for the super speedway format. And NASCAR also announced, along with their practice, there will be an extended practice before qualifying at the Daytona 500. NASCAR's listening to fans. Look at that. We did it, everyone. We've got cars on track before qualifying at the Daytona 500. It makes no sense to send those cars out without having any on-track action, just basically tech. That's it. So I'm glad to see more on-track action, at least somewhat moving forward in the 2025 season as far as the NASCAR qualifying and practice formats. And again, single car qualifying is a big win on ovals. It's just simplified and it's easier to follow. Let me know your thoughts down below if you think that this is a big win, or do you like the old format for qualifying from 2024? And finally, Trackhouse Racing today announced that they're going to be doing a one-off entry for the 24 Hours of Daytona in January. Trackhouse announced a partnership with endurance team TF Sport and Corvette Racing to back the number 91 entry in Daytona for January. The drivers for that number 91 Corvette, Shane Van Gisbergen, Connor Zillage, Scott McLaughlin, and Ben Keating. What a lineup, and here's the livery for it. 10 out of 10 lineup, 10 out of 10 livery. Trackhouse absolutely nailed it this time around. SVG and Connor Zilch both being Trackhouse drivers. You've got Scott McLaughlin, who's a Chevrolet driver and has always wanted to do the Daytona 24 hours, and Ben Keating, who is a partner of Corvette Racing and is a longtime endurance racer the last decade. So this team right now, it's a star-studded team. And to see SVG and Scott McLaughlin together, you Kiwi fans, you supercar fans, congratulations. You finally got what you wanted. Scotty Mack with some cheeky banter on the X, Twitter, whatever you call it there. And again, the livery is just absolutely spot on. With Trackhouse joining MotoGP last year, it just shows that they're not afraid to break out into the motorsports world, not just in stock car form. And I love seeing teams branch out into different forms of motorsport. Imagine a Team Penske entry in the 24 hours with Logano, Blaney, Newgarden, Will Power, or someone like Andretti Spire, because that partnership's obviously there. You could have multiple different teams enter. Like I said, with Trackhouse, this is a one-off. It's not like they're going to be doing this every year, but I love seeing teams like this branch out into more forms of racing. Let me know your thoughts down below about Trackhouse entering in 24 hours and who else you'd love to see enter into the 24 hours moving forward. Like I said, I love seeing any team spread the wealth in motorsports. A rising tide lifts all ships. Again, if you're new here, like this video, subscribe to Breaking Bob. It helps me out a ton. We'll be back for more news because the NASCAR world, it never seems to stop. So stay tuned for more. Appreciate you for watching.